think Veronica's here. Veronica, I think it's your turn.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Susan. Haven't heard Susan for a while. Thank you, Susan. So here we are. Let's see. Today, purpose. We'll spend the hour sharing on purpose, your sacred purpose, and other ideas, whatever else comes up to be shared. And also humility. Humility, and how so many of us are running away from life and wanting life to satisfy our selfish desires. And life cannot satisfy our selfish desires. We have to let go of our selfishness and trust in the creative action of life. To live without self-centered expectations it's freedom in personal relationships. Only the truth will set us free. Do you want to be free? The answer is yes. Then do not hold yourself hostage. All spiritual texts assure us that God is all there is. And God is an energy field of pure, unconditional love, not contaminated, not corrupted, pure, unconditional love. And you are created, not made, in the image and likeness of God. Image is thought, likeness, like qualities, the nature, the character, the goodness of God. So in order for us to hear our real thoughts that are there within each and every one of us, we must be willing to quiet the mind. And we know that gaining control of the mind it's one of the most difficult, hardest tasks you will ever have. And what is the purpose of A Course in Miracles? To let go of what you've made so you can remember what you are. So it's a course in mind training, training the mind in a systematic way, because it's untrained. It's like a puppy roaming around, untrained, here, there, and everywhere. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing, but a trained mind can, because you are focused, you are one-pointed, you are diligent, you are devoted, you are committed to knowing the truth of what you are. That is where your freedom lies, in knowing the truth. And that's all I wanted to know in my life years ago. I want to know the truth. So transformation of consciousness is all that is worth doing. Course in Miracles is reminding us of what you are, that you have forgotten. It's an agent of healing. It's not to be learned. It's to be lived. And it's leading you step by step through the evolving process. It's reminding you of what you have just simply forgotten. And you can read the whole book without having read the first lesson. The voice is the voice of wisdom, and it's speaking to you directly. Are we willing to step back from the crowd and discover your natural power? Are you willing, well, as I did, turn your back on the thought system of man and put your attention on the thoughts of God? What is the role of A Course in Miracles? To change your mind about the world. Transformation of consciousness. And it's cutting, it's like a laser. It's cutting straight through to the core essence of what you are. And we have a simple choice. We accept it or reject it. I cannot even imagine, nor do I ever want to imagine, as to what my life would be had A Course in Miracles not come into my world and leading me step by step through the evolving process. Yes, lots of challenges, lots of crying. But to be where I am now in my life, I live in freedom. Every challenge or experience was worth it. There were opportunities for growth. Total freedom or total bondage. It's introducing you to you, your true, sacred, eternal, immortal self, so you can fulfill your sacred purpose that you agreed upon before coming in. You know, the Course makes a fundamental distinction between the real and the unreal, between knowledge and perception. And it's beyond learning because it's beyond time. It's not to be learned. It's to be lived. To be lived. Learning is essential outside the kingdom. In the kingdom, there's no teaching, there's no learning. All of our learning is an indulgence. Empty the mind of all your intellectual time concepts. Cure the ills of your mind with the medicine of truth. Only the truth will set you free. True education does not come from pumping information in. For heaven's sake, we know too much intellectually. But allowing the wisdom, the knowledge that is already within you to be drawn out, as within, so without, so you can fulfill your sacred purpose. Purpose means intention. Intention means determination to act in a certain way. We have trained ourselves to react from a consciousness of fear. You can train your mind to act from a consciousness of love. Consciousness of awareness. Awareness is the key to transformation. And there are only two purposes: sin and holiness. One leads you forward, one holds you back. And which you choose will determine what you see. One is showing you ugliness. One is expressing the beauty that is you, your true self, your soul. And we know that ugliness is ugly because it stems from a distorted perception. We're not seeing clearly. Our perception is upside down. And beauty is of God. Beauty is of the soul. Beauty is being, because it's of life. And God is life. And there's only one life. And that we share with all of creation. And you are creation, creating in a world of forever changing form. Most of us are not even creating. We're miscreating. When you miscreate, you're in pain. When you co-create, you're in joy. You're in love. And you're feeling your magnificence flowing through you. Through. Comes through, not from, through. And beauty is being because it is of life. And it's your soul. And your soul is nudging you into creative action. And your soul knows only beauty and sees clearly, does not make mistakes. sees clearly. So are we willing to heal our distorted, upside down perception so we can see, not with physical eyes, but with spiritual sight? Yes, it is far easier to change one's mind than fix the world. It's a mess that we've made. But you know what? We're here to clean it up, each and every one of us. And you are supported by an abundant universe. And this is why people love looking at beautiful objects, because beautiful objects elevate the mind. And beauty and joy are two of life's greatest attributes. It elevates us. Elevate yourself, each other, and the planet by seeing through eyes of love, by seeing everyone and everything through eyes of beauty. That takes a lot of mind training. That takes a lot of commitment, devotion, dedication in your practice. To see everything through eyes of love. You think with thought, you see with thought. And for most of us, most of the time, the mind is judging. And a judgment is an unacceptable thought about someone or something. To judge is to not know. Remember. We have to remember. It's about remembering, and never forgetting, as the Course teaches us. You see what you expect, and you expect what you invite. Be willing to see differently. Be willing to see with the eye of your heart. For the eye of your heart knows only beauty. It does not know ugliness. It's not distorted. It sees clearly. So you can see a world of love, light, and wisdom, or a world of darkness and ignorance. The choice is yours. Love's purpose is to keep us in the present, where all things, does not say some things, all things are always in righteous order. It means you're using your mind in the right way, and right ideas are flowing through you. You're the vessel, through you. And when we're using the mind and not allowing the mind to use you, then you can laugh. You can laugh at fear. You can laugh at the disaster and see what we do to ourselves. It's a joke to think that time can circumvent eternity. The separated self that we have accepted as real, this imposter, superficial, artificial self, we call the ego, fear. Its purpose is to keep you in the self-induced nonsense. And that is what sin is. Self-induced nonsense. To keep the mind in a state of fear. And if your mind is not in its natural state, then it's in an unnatural state. And what do you experience in an unnatural state? Lack of love. Sin is lack of love. It's not the environment by which or for which you were created. It's the symbol of attack. It's an error. That's what sin is. It's an error. It's an archery term, meaning that you missed the mark. So guess what? Try again. It's a mistake. And mistakes can be corrected. But the mistake cannot be corrected at the form level. The mistake can only be corrected where the mistake was made, where the error was made. In the mind. You are your thoughts. You have to support sin, while truth needs no support. Truth supports itself. Sin is an idea of evil that cannot be corrected. It's misdirected energy. It's telling you you're going in the wrong direction. Energy is flowing in the wrong direction. Therefore, there's a lack of faith. Sin is faithlessness. Faithlessness is lack of faith. It's faith in nothing. Can you devote yourself to nothing? Devote yourself to the light, and you will be devoted to everything. It's evil working havoc in the mind. We call it insanity. It's the home of illusions, and no illusion has any light in it. No illusion has any light in it. Sin is anything that obscures the soul. It's separation from God. Separation from your true self. So we must end the separation. End the constant identification with a false image. So you can recognize, and to recognize is to know, and to know is to be certain, to recognize your sacred purpose that you agreed upon to fulfill. Your inner purpose is the deeper awareness of what you are, your true self, that is beyond time. It's timeless. It's limitless. It's not limited. It's not of time. And as we choose, through your practice, through your devotion, to look away from what you've made, let's say look away from sin, you are given vision. And vision shows you where to go. You're moving in the right direction. The director is within, directing your every footstep. And you're not being led astray. Sin leads us astray. And your primary purpose is to walk in the direction of light and to give light by exchanging your pitiful illusions and awakening to your true reality, your true self. So your single purpose is to remember what you are. Your single purpose is to light up the world. I am the light of the world. I am light's representative here on earth. Let me remember what my purpose is. Lesson 257. If I forget, as many of us have, I am confused and unsure, uncertain of what I am, and conflicted in my actions. Conflict is self-deception, and self-deception is dishonesty. We have to be honest with ourselves, because you cannot serve, the mind cannot serve two masters. You're either using the mind or the mind is using you. You cannot serve contradicting goals and serve them well. If you do, well, we know what happens. You suffer. Deep distress and depression. Depression comes from wanting something you think you cannot have. We are deprived of nothing. We're rich in the awareness of our true essence, love. So we have to unify. We have a tool given to us that has 365 lessons, reminding us of what we are. To unify your thoughts and actions meaningfully and achieve what God would have you do. And since purpose is of the mind, and minds can only join in truth, because there's only one life, and that we share with all of creation. There's one mind, universal mind, the mind of God. We all came from the same offspring. Minds are joined, bodies are not. The power of one mind can shine into another because all the lamps were lit by the same spark. So minds can only join in truth. Minds cannot unite in dreams, fearful dreams. Most of our dreams are perceptual temper tantrums. We want things to be the way we want it to be. You're not even seeing clearly. How do you know what you even want? Excuse me. How do you know what you even want? In dreams, we're bargaining. You don't bargain with God. Bodies have no goal. All they do is interfere. Can we enter into the silence? And in silent readiness, accept your purpose as the light of the world, where you can rest, secure, safe in the light, untouchable. There's no greater joy in having a sacred purpose and fulfilling it. And all that you need for your advancement is already within, just waiting to be accepted by you. And your soul, your true self, keeps whispering to you, reminding you that your single and only purpose is light. Are we hearing the whispers? Are we willing to awaken to your life's purpose? Where you can give, and keep on giving. Love, light, and more light. That is where your joy lies. And your only purpose is light. And how you will be used is immaterial. My eyes, my tongue, my hands, my feet, all of me have but one purpose: to be given Christ, to use, to bless the world with miracles. Lesson 353. Lose yourself in the image that you have made. I lose myself in my identity and recognize that the Christ is but myself. You are the Christ. Christ means the anointed one. And you anoint yourself by knowing yourself. To thine own self be true. Be true to you. Honor you. Appreciate you. Delight in you. No one's going to honor anything in you that you don't honor first. And since spiritual law governs your life and your purpose is light, because you are the light of the world, you came in to represent what you are, then we have to do a sort of a clearing within ourselves. We have to lay aside all of our meaningless, selfish desires. We have to lay aside our trivial purposes and our cumbersome defenses, which profits nothing, and come to the awareness that you are a beacon of light. You came from light. You're evolving through light, and you will return to light. And that is your true essence. Now we're in a time universe. We're in a universe of cause and effect. So every second, you're making a choice. You cannot live a choiceless life. And each choice you make brings everything to you or nothing. Choose light, and you have everything. Choose fear, and you have nothing. Do not equate yourself with a frail physical body. Do not invite fear to enter and be your guest. When you do, is your invitation to pain. It means you're inviting fear to be your purpose. I am sustained by the love of God. Sustained, nourished, provided, protected, supported, comforted by the source, God, that gave you life. And there's only one life. Life eternal. And the Course is saying, well, lesson 50, I am sustained by the love of God. Here's the answer to every problem that will confront you today and tomorrow and throughout time. In this world, you believe you are sustained by everything but God. And you will hear when you stop judging. Judgment is an unacceptable thought about someone or something. What am I except the Christ in me? How much do we desire to know the truth of what you are? And when you learn the test, we're always being tested. Test provides the means for us to progress. When you learn the test by distinguishing nothing from everything, you will make the better choice. Because what you think is real, you want. And you will not let it go. And it's destroying your peace of mind. You're not even using the mind. The mind is using you. So you ask yourself, why is the choice I made of value to me? We really have to do our own internal inquiry, our internal investigating. Be with you. Question your beliefs. Why is the choice I made of value to me? What attracts my mind to it? What purpose does it serve? Be still. if you feel a sense of uncertainty and doubt, if you feel a sense of fear or guilt about your choice, it's very clear you've chosen wrongly. You're identifying with a false self, a false image. And guess what? Choose again. Unlearn in order to remember. You do not want to devote your mind to what you do not want. Devotion is the constant reminder that God is the doer, the doing, and the deed. So you want to remain devoted to you, devoted in your practice of remembering your sacred purpose, remembering what you are here to do, that you agreed upon. If you do not want it, it was never created. And if it's not created, then you made it up. Then it's not real. You want to stay rooted in the awareness of your true identity, because you are letting go of meaningless thoughts. You are escaping from the jaws of time. You want to be diligent and devoted in your practice and not drift into forgetfulness. Even if you drift into forgetfulness, catch yourself and bring the mind back to the present moment. Let your physical body serve you as a garment. You need it for selfless service and action. Wear it and use it. Take good care of it. And it will serve its sacred purpose, because you're not assigning it to roles it cannot fill. You are choosing to follow your immortal self. You're choosing to let all the present moments leave you breathless, because your single and only purpose is the light. And you cannot live without a purpose. And yet that is what you do when you're disconnected from your true essence, God. When you have a purpose, it means that your mind has been healed. You have become aware of the wholeness that is your holiness. You woke up from the sleep. The awakened mind knows itself, its source, and its wholeness. You're no longer seeing fragmented pieces. You're no longer floating on the surface of life. You're seeing the unity that holds everything together as one. I am oneself, united with all of creation. We share one life because there's only one source. I am oneself. Lesson 95. A purpose is a unifying force, because what it does is it makes you aware of your connection to the source that gave you life and your part in fulfilling your sacred obligations, your sacred purpose. And when you are tuned into the infinite, when you are in touch with your purpose, your mind is quiet, and right ideas are flowing through you. Right ideas are coming into your awareness, because purpose is of the mind. And most people have no real purpose and secretly perceive their lives as being meaningless. Because your thoughts are meaningless. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. And that's because they're identifying with their physical body as being real. And bodies have no goal. All they do is interfere. God cannot share his purpose with a body. And you have two bodies. We've talked about this. A physical body and a light body. Your light body is your blueprint. We need the physical body for selfless service and action. So a merging, an aligning, a correction has to take place within the mind. You have to become aware of your true essence, the truth of what you are. You have to discover your purpose, which means you have to accept yourself as God created you, which means you have to drop your defenses, and then you will know what your purpose is. Our defenses, we're always defending a delusional thought system, always defending our need to be right. And ask yourself, am I happy all the time in everything I do? I do. Unless you are, you're not following God's will. You're not fulfilling your sacred purpose. And that's because you don't see yourself as God created you. So you ask yourself, how do I see myself? Do I see myself in the image is thought, in which I was created? Do I see myself as loving, lovely, and lovable? Or do you love yourself sometimes and hate yourself at other times? In the quiet, ask yourself, what is my purpose? You have to discover it, which you do by ending the conflict within, which you do by waking up from the sleep of forgetfulness. Your purpose is, it's unique. It's universal and unique. And when you discover how you will be astonished when you discover your divine destiny that is already designed for you. Your choice is to live a purposeful life. And I know it is. Everyone's deepest desire is to live the life they were created to live. Well, then we have to be willing to let go of our selfishness, our selfish desires that weigh us down. So many of us are carrying so much baggage. We have to keep tossing the baggage overboard and allow the light to stir up your purpose and passion. Choose to be in the now. And know and dance to the music of your divine purpose. And recognize, and to recognize is to know. Know yourself. Know that you belong to the light. And you're flowing with the river of light that flows from the throne of the source that gave you life. And a river means purpose, because it is always going somewhere. It has a destination. And your ultimate destination is your natural home, your natural environment, the environment by which and for which you were created, your natural environment of love, light, and wisdom, and your single and only purpose is light. That is our true essence. 99% of what we are is non-physical, and the 1% that is physical is an illusion. And yet we give so much attention to the physical and less attention to the spiritual. We do everything backwards. Forgive yourself your madness. Let go of all those meaningless, selfish desires. Forget your goalless aims that have no meaning, so you can remember your sacred purpose. Love is the environment by which and for which you were created. We were not created to be eaten by fear. So are we willing to see differently? Are you willing to unveil your eyes and see differently, think differently, and live differently in the right way? In the right way. We seem to be in such some racing going nowhere, frantic race to get somewhere or something, busy chasing rainbows and their illusion of despair, lack, limitation, disappointments, rounding corners, searching for the shining, radiant being of light. You're not going to discover yourself in the illusion. Always in a hurry and a mad dash to fill the void and emptiness we feel inside. Caught up in the illusions, deceived by the form that is always changing, caught up in the illusion of survival programming. We're victims of moreness. We're always wanting more. Me, mine, more. Really going nowhere. You think you are, but you're not. Really going nowhere. You're just running away from life. Too busy? Busy like insects day and night. Busy like bees in the making of honey. Too busy to spend a quiet moment with yourself in silence and recognize the beauty, the timeless beauty that is your true self, your true immortal self. Too busy pursuing and following the dictates of a false self, attaining, acquiring, achieving, accomplishing, me, mine, more, take, get, and grab, driven by false illusionary beliefs and motivated by fear, tied and bound to time, meaningless idle pursuits. Aren't we exhausted? How much do you desire to know your sacred purpose, to know the truth of what you are, your true self that is unbound and untouched by fear and doubt? Most of us are terribly exhausted. We have exhausted ourselves, our God-given energy. By listening to the dictates of a false self, the personality self that limits us, keeps us in lack and limitation, agony, sacrifice, suffering. But the self that is the one self is unlimited, unrestricted, and lives in freedom, forever free. Where you're no longer surviving, your life is lived from within and extends out. Because your mind is free of judgments. Where you're seeing clearly, by sight or by feeling. Where you can bring forth mighty works, not by the sweat of your brow, but by the intent of your consciousness. Your consciousness is your world represents your thoughts, and you are what your thoughts have made you, and what you've made are of time, and they're not real. Don't you want to taste the nectar of immortality, where what is significant and indispensable we waste so much of our God-given energy on idle pursuits. We waste our years on foolish thoughts. And yet what you are is not a belief system. And what you are is not up to you to decide. What do you prefer? What you made or what has been given to you by God? Your life is not a part of anything you see. It stands beyond the body and the world. Can we have a bit of willingness to stop our interference of what will happen and recognize the truth of what you are? We're not being asked to do what lies beyond our understanding. All we're being asked to do is to let love in. It waits on welcome. It cannot enter where it's not welcome. It waits on welcome, not on time. Time is the great illusion. We're trapped. There is an intelligence that's operating for good in your life and behind the form. Love is the only power holding everything together as one. Don't you want to be free? The answer is yes. Then don't hold yourself hostage. Love is eternally free and always at your disposal. Let your silent cry be love, love, love. Free our mind from the dictates of a false self. And we have a tool, 365 lessons, that will teach your clean and open mind. Love's direction will always give you peace. Are we willing to let go? Come with an open mind, open heart, and empty hands. Be willing to let go. Be as a child and trust. Are you really willing to walk in light so that your fearful concept of yourself may change? Do you want to be in perfect harmony with all there is and all that there will be? You are the miracle. The miracle of life is God is all there is. And no miracle can ever be denied when you walk with love as your constant companion. We must be willing to wake up from the sleep of forgetfulness. Love can only be awakened by love. And you cannot wake yourself. The activation is within the heart of love. You can only experience love by recognizing that you are love. And there's no time, no place, no state where love is absent. Love is always present. We are absent. If you hate, and that is such a strong word, if you hate, it's because you're afraid of love. How can you find love Offer it, and it will come to you. Share it. How can you find it except through itself? It is drawn unto itself. When you offer attack, love remains hidden. Don't you want to soar high in the sky of love? Yes, you do. The function of A Course in Miracles is to bring the mind to silence. When you read, hear God speaking to you. Give yourself space and room to explore and discover. To listen, to be still and do nothing is one of the highest virtues. It does not mean you sit and do nothing. You're paying attention to your state of mind. You can sit and do nothing, but the activity is still going on within the mind. Be present. You're curing the ills of your mind with the medicine of truth. Let it uplift you. Once we make the decision to get out of the old trap, get ourselves out of the way, you will be amazed how quickly circumstances change. Opportunities open up for us. You're allowing life to be your teacher and friend. The open-minded see the truth in different religions. The closed-minded see only the differences. What is the same cannot be different, and what is one cannot have separate parts. Real living comes from making a contribution to mankind. Pay attention to your state of mind. Be present. Feel inspired. Feel the charge of energy in the words so they come alive. And awaken you. All scriptures of all religions assure us we are all created in the image and likeness of God. And that goodness is our original nature. And you cannot dispute that. We have to discover it. It's our original nature. So whatever problems we may have, whatever mistakes we have made, that spark of goodness is untouched by anything external. The purity that is your soul, timeless and eternal, forever and forever. We can hide it, but you cannot lose it. Cannot lose it. Many of us must be reached by words because they are unable to hear in silence. The power of the spoken word. The spoken word produces vibration. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things were created by God, and without God was not anything made that was made. Speak words of truth. Let it resonate, permeate within you, bringing you to a greater awareness of what you are. And as you've heard me mention here before, that's all I wanted to know in my life. I want to know the truth of what am I on this planet to do. Step back from the crowd and claim your forgotten power. Transformation of consciousness is the only thing worth doing. Gaining control of the mind is the most difficult task you will ever have. face your dysfunction and transmute it through the power of love. The way of the timid is to run. The way of the brave is to be still and know. It takes courage, bravery, to step out of the momentum of the things of time that keeps us bound and put your attention on the thoughts of God. Turn your back, which is what I did. Turn your back on the thought system of man, the things of time that keeps us trapped. Everything that happens to you is the result of what you have thought and believed. Are we willing to step gently aside and let healing be done for you as you let go of the disaster you have made and seek refuge in your natural environment of light? What could you not accept? The Course is teaching us. What could you not accept if you but knew that all events, past, present, and to come, are already planned for you by one whose only purpose is your good? Perhaps you've misunderstood God's plan. For He would never offer pain to you. While you made plans for death, He leads you gently to life eternal. Truth is simple. But simplicity is difficult for twisted minds. Simple means easily understood and clear. Give a man a fish and feed him for a day. Show him how to fish, and he can feed himself for a lifetime. You have a tool given to you to use that's leading you step by step through the evolving process. Showing you the way. Winston Churchill said, you make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. We must be willing to give up what we've made. And there's only one way to have a real vacation, is to get far away as you possibly can from the ego. Worrying, planning, deciding, evaluating, thinking causes misery. Do you want to escape? Then do not feed the ego or the problem. Everyone's problem is the same problem, disguised in many different forms. Our sense of separation from our true essence, from our natural environment. Resentment, hostility, alienation. Those are deficiency diseases, and just about everyone is suffering from them. You can read spiritual texts 1,000 times, but to hear it with fresh ears and an open mind and an open heart through someone else reading it, it reinforces it. You're strengthening it. Your mind is open to receive. I was one of those that heard the silent command of the inner voice and paid attention. Listening is sacred. It's a divine gift that few have developed. Because to listen with your heart means that from the heart of the listener is pouring out infinite love and compassion to heal the anguished mind. The mind in turmoil takes away from the beauty of your face, the beauty of your movements, the beauty of your voice. Most of us are not even thinking. We're hallucinating, dreaming that life is external and the externals are going to do it for us. The externals are not going to do it for us because it's based on man-made rules and ideas. You can by looking within To think, to hear our real thoughts, to think is to be with pure energy. It means the energy is not contaminated. It's not contaminated. It's pure. It's wholesome. To think like God means you're using your mind in the right way and right ideas are flowing through you. The difficulty is we cannot seem to stop thinking. Quiet in the mind is one of the most difficult tasks you will ever have. It's racing so fast, we lack the time to finish the thought, much less to check on the quality of the thought. And quality is more important than quantity. Universal mind has tossed us a lifeline. Grab a hold of it and sail effortlessly to a safe harbor, away from fear, away from what you've made forever. Learn your lessons. Test provides the means for us to progress. Learn your lessons and move on to greater ones. The way is not hard. It's just very different. Yours is the way of pain, of which love knows nothing of. Trust in love. Trust in the creative action of life. You know, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, life consists in what a man is thinking of all day. And most of us are not thinking. Always thinking, thinking, thinking. Don't describe God. Experience God. You are God. Know thyself is the beginning of wisdom. Thank you for this hour, Sharon. I will be here tomorrow at 5 o'clock.